How many of you have ever had the thought, oh, I wish my parents had taught me another language when I was a child? And you probably thought that would be much easier back then, or maybe it's something that you feel like you couldn't possibly do today, right? Well, I'm here to tell you that your ability to learn new skills hasn't gone away just because you've gotten older. I remember being in middle school and thinking that all the kids who were always getting A's were just naturally smarter than everybody else, or if anyone was good at sports, they were just kind of athletically gifted, or and that's just the way things are, and somebody who wasn't those things couldn't somehow just become them, right? Um, I didn't realize how much this kind of thinking was holding me back from growing or learning until I learned about something called a growth mindset, right? And I learned about this through watching and listening to the Huberman Lab podcast, where he references the work of a psychology professor from Stanford. Her name is Dr. Carol Dweck, and um, Dr. Carol Dweck, she covers she does some research to do with people's abilities to learn new skills, right? So, having said that, today I'd like to persuade you to learn a new skill by going over four topics, right? So, number one would be the importance of having a growth mindset. Two is gaining confidence by overcoming failure. Three is the social benefits of new activities. And lastly, the fourth one is the potential impact that learning a new skill can have on your academic and career goals, right? So let's go to the first one, the importance of having a growth mindset. So what even is a growth mindset, right? So to directly quote Dr. Carol Dweck, a growth mindset is the belief that human capacities are not fixed but can be developed over time. That's just to say that let's say your intelligence or ability to do a certain skill, play an instrument, speak a certain language, that's not something that's set in stone. And with enough kind of like time and effort, you can get better at nearly anything. The opposite of this would be a fixed mindset, which instead is the belief that someone's intelligence it can't be improved on. Kind of like people who are fast runners are just naturally fast. Somebody who can play several instruments is musically gifted, and that's just that. If you're not those things, then you can't do those things, right? That's just the opposite. That's a fixed mindset. So having a growth mindset makes it so that you don't set these kind of limitations on yourself without even giving something a try. Really the first step of learning something new is believing that you're capable of doing anything, as long as you set enough time and effort to go towards it, right? So step one is believing. Now that we know what a growth mindset is, we're ready to learn how to deal with the setbacks that come with being a beginner, right? So takes us to our second point, is gaining confidence by overcoming failure, right? It's only normal that you're not going to be good at anything you try, especially if it's the first time, like as a beginner, you're going to fail, right? But that's fine, it's important for us to kind of like embrace failure, and instead of looking at it as such a negative thing, just see it as an opportunity for growth, right? So Ray Dalio is a billionaire investment fund founder. In one of his books, Principles, he states, to directly quote him, it's a fundamental law of nature that you have to fail in order to learn and grow. Which just means kind of like embrace failure. That's how we know that we're pushing ourselves, stepping out of our comfort zone, and gives us a chance to analyze, what did I do wrong? What can I do better? And instead of it being such a bad thing, discouraging thing, it should be encouraging that, that you're even strong enough to put yourself in a position to try something that you were maybe scared of doing previously, right? And you see kind of like over time how rewarding it can be to stick with something that's challenging at the start, and watching your progress, or eventually mastering that thing, and that's the kind of confidence that can carry you towards just wanting to learn even more stuff, or even take on even bigger challenges, right? So that's the importance of embracing failure. And what's great about learning something new is that you don't have to do it alone, right? So brings us to our next point, number 3, the social benefits of learning a new activity, right? So learning something new can lead you to joining a club, or making new friends that are interested in the same thing, right? And like to speak from my experience, I remember a number of years ago trying to learn how to skateboard, and you know, if anyone knows, skateboarding is a very difficult thing. You know, and your ego is really gonna be tested with how many times you're gonna fall. But anyway, you know, I remember how much that brought me closer to you know, people that I already knew, but you know, I didn't have that much of a connection. But you know, all of a sudden through this thing, learning this new thing, we're able to spend more time and bond over over this activity, right? And then also research shows that engagement in activities with a social group can actually reduce stress and anxiety and overall increase the quality of life, right? So learning something new can really just help you get a better support system and enjoy yourself, right? Brings us to our last point. You know, how can we bring all of this together to better your future, right? So point number 4 is the potential impact a new skill can have on your academic and career goals, right? Pushing yourself to learn something new will really teach you how to deal with challenges, right? You know, it'll prepare you to deal with a difficult math class, or potentially maybe going to a job interview and you're nervous. You know, having already conquered your fears and trying something new that you didn't initially think was possible, all of a sudden, you know, you can see yourself overcoming that kind of stuff, right? And then also, you know, maybe learning a new hobby, skill, language. You know, let's say you learn Korean, you know, and all of a sudden just a whole new world of job opportunities open up. You know, if it's to relocate and live in South Korea or something. You just really never know where trying something new, where that can take you, right? So brings me to my conclusion. You know, and I know that trying to learn something new can be intimidating, but you know, hopefully today I've convinced you to at least give it a try. You know, all you need to do is keep these 4 things in mind. You just need to remember: 1, the importance of having a growth mindset. 2 is gaining confidence by overcoming failure. 3 is the social benefits of learning a new activity. And lastly, the potential impact that learning a new skill can have on your academic and career goals. Next time you catch yourself saying, "Oh, I wish I learned something when I was younger," you know, remember that if that was the best time to have learned something, then the second best time is today.